Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host Joseph. Today's our second review for March Martial Arts Madness Month. Today we're reviewing the sequel that nobody asked for, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2, Sword of Destiny, which is directed by Yuen Woo-ping, which I didn't even know this movie was a thing till last year, I think. It came out in 2016. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. Stars Michelle Yeoh, who returns to play her character from the original movie. Yu Shu Lin, Donnie Yen as Silent Wolf, Natasha Liu Bordezzo as Novace, Harry Shum Jr. as Wei Fong, Jason Scott Lee as Hades Dai. And you also have like a bunch of characters from like a bunch of actors from like bit roles in like English English martial art movies. Like you have the one guy from what was it, Kung Pao, the guy who's like that really tough dude but has like the really girly voice that the chosen one ripped up his outfit to make it look like he was wearing a bikini. He plays like Thunder Fist something in this movie. So yeah, the movie is like I could not believe that this movie was made by a famous like kung fu movie director, Yuen Woo-ping, who directed a lot of kung fu movies, which also feature Donnie Yen and like Michelle Yeoh. You got like Iron Monkey 1993, Wing Chun 1994, Drunken Master 1978 with Jackie Chan, and also Snake and Eagle Shadow 1978, which Jackie Chan also was in. And you got True Legend 2010, which that movie looked like shit. So it's the thing where a lot of older directors like once they start like after a certain age, they just put out shit like Dario Argento, like put out a lot of great stuff in the 70s, but like I don't know, like once like the 2000s was a thing, every movie he puts out looks like shit. Like this movie, if it wasn't for the fact that Michelle Yeoh in it and Donnie Yen, I would have thought this was like made for TV movie. That's how bad the movie looks, right? And then there's the fact that you have like a bunch of English-speaking Asian actors in like a kung fu movie, right? It just cheapens everything. Like the movie, like they would have been better off if they got like actual actors from China, have them speak in their native language, and just dub the movie in English than what they did, which what they did was like hire like English speaking Asian actors, right? So the story for this movie is it's like 18 years after the events of the first movie. Shu Lian returns to Peking to visit Mr. Tay's family, because like he died, and like she's going to his funeral. What ends up happening is that you have this warlord named Hades Dai, played by Jason Scott Lee, who's been in like a lot of movies. I think he was in like the he was in like the live action Jungle Book, the 1994 one, which is my favorite Jungle Book movie. And he was also in like I think he played Bruce Lee in the Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. He voice acted in a role in Lilo Stitch, and he was also the main character in the really terrible Dracula 2000 sequels, where he plays like this really cool Vatican priest vampire hunter, which I fucking love those movies, but they're shit. But I don't know, I really love the character, right? Yeah, so like yeah, Hades Dai sends one of his men to Wei Fang to like to retrieve the Sword of Destiny because some like blind seer bitch, which is not something you see a lot in like um, Chinese fantasy movies, but I guess this is based off a book, so which the book is called Iron Knight Silver Vase by Wang Dulu, who also wrote the book that was was the inspiration for the first movie. Yeah, he gets caught by Snow Vase, who was visiting Tay's family during the funeral. Who it turns out he's the Tay's family is like related to the Emperor of China. So why? So which makes the preceding events in the movie really fucking dumb because after his underling failed, Hades died, decides to attack the Tay residence, right? And right, so Michelle Yeoh, in the meantime, with with Tay's son, who's now the patriarch of the household, decides to put out like posters asking for the help from like famous skilled warriors to come and help defend the Sword of Destiny. One of the warriors is Silent Wolf, who who has this like cowboy hat in the beginning of the movie, which he loses, right? Who and like a bunch of other people, like four other random kung fu martial artists join him to help defend the place, which they're killed one by one throughout the movie. Like they're cannon fodder. Silent Wolf shows up, and it turns out he is Lu Shu Lian's long lost, well, not long lost, fought dead husband. Not husband. Fiance, who was the reason why Michelle Yeoh's character couldn't marry Xiao Yun Fat's character, who played Lu Mubai, because they were he was friends with Silent Wolf and would not marry, despite loving Lu Xian, couldn't marry her because of his memory, which he changed his mind in the beginning of the movie, but because of the whole events of what happened, so that was the explanation why he didn't marry her for years, was because he was caught up with his friendship with Silent Wolf, which turns out he was alive the entire time, faked his death in this duel between him and Hades Dai, who we never heard of in the fucking first movie, right? And obviously this pisses off Yu Shulan, who gives him the silent treatment. She starts to train Snow Vase, and turns out Snow Vase and Wei Fang have this secret history of each other. I'm not even going to go into that bullshit. They develop a relationship, and Wei Fang changes sides and joins up with our main characters to fight Hades Dai, which after the Hades Dai's first assault, where he wipes out half their forces, they all decide to storm Hades Dai, and they have this huge fight where all the underlings on our main character's side die at the hands of a female warrior on Hades Dai's side, which was really fucking cringe in my opinion. How easily she beasted all these skilled martial artists, only to die by the hands of Lu Xian's new apprentice Snow Vase, right? So yeah, the movie. My problem with the movie is it has this made-for-TV movie feel to it. Maybe might be just because of the casting and the fact that you had the fact that it was spoken the movie was English language film instead of a Mandarin film, which I would have preferred it if it was they spoke their native language, right? Yes, and like other than that, like a lot of the fights between like a lot of the fight scenes between people that weren't like Donnie Yen or Michelle Yeoh, which Michelle Yeoh's fight scenes were pretty, I wouldn't say bad, but like obviously this woman's like almost 60 years old. How old is she? Oh, she's 58, so she would have only been like 54. But still, like this woman's like in her 50s. Her fight scenes were not that great. Donnie Yen's fight scenes and like his choreography and like the way he fought was only standing like was the only good thing the movie had. Like his fight scenes, his costume, the way he fought. Even the Sword of Destiny, I should mention, looks kind of shitty. Looked really shitty compared to the first movie. And I'm not even going to mention, like, I forgot to mention, like, how retarded it is that this movie exists in the first place when, like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's hard to call that movie an art house film, even though it's very try-hard-ish to be an art house film. It's especially hard to call it an art house film when like the movie inspired fucking video games. Like there was a game for like the Xbox and PS2, if I'm not mistaken, and like there was like action figures for that movie. So it's hard to call that movie an art film, but like it really was. And to make a sequel to that seems very dumb to me, especially if you're not gonna, especially when you're not even gonna put that much effort into it, in my opinion, though, right? Like, as bad as, like, this movie's, like, so bad that if you were to ask me, hey, if you had the choice to either watch this movie again or rewatch Man with the Iron Fist, the RZA movie, I would rather watch the RZA movie. Because as bad as that movie was, that movie has a lot of heart to it. And, like, people actually tried with the costumes and the characters here. It's just like the movie, like everything looked cheap. Like the acting, I would say, like the acting, was okay. Like Jason Scott Lee, like did his best, but like because this is like the closest thing he's done for like a theatrical movie in a while. Which I don't even think of this movie even when does this movie even get a theatrical release? I think this is like what a next. Isn't this like a Netflix exclusive? I don't even fucking know. Yeah, like this movie, if I were to give it a rating, like, it's the thing where if I was a hardcore, like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon fan, I would probably give it like a 3 or a 4. But because I'm not a hardcore Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon fan, like, I watched that movie like 4 times. It wasn't even till the 4th time I watched it did I realize that the chick commits suicide at the end of the movie. Like, I don't know. I'm so dumb. I guess I just thought she would just jump when she jumped off the balcony, off that mountain and like floated down to like was floating down. I just thought she would just gently float down to the bottom. I didn't know that she was like falling down to her death, which obviously she was, based on like the fact that she had her arms in front of her face as she's like fucking as she's falling to her death. Crap, I'm trying not to swear in my fucking movie reviews anymore, but yeah, if I'm giving this movie a 5 out of 10, it's the thing where, like, as bad as like the movie was, it is confident. And like it is confident. I've seen worse like kung fu movies. And like, and I know there are people who love certain genres enough that, despite it being like an average film at best, people will enjoy this movie. So like, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Only watch it if you're like a hardcore like kung fu, like Wuxia movie fan. All right, guys, that's it for this review. My next martial arts madness movie review, I think I'm gonna review a Chinese anime film that I bought like I think I bought it like 2 or 4 years ago, and I still haven't watched it. So I'm just gonna watch it now. Gosh, dang it. Oh, and I don't know if I'm gonna still do the Mortal Kombat marathon this weekend. I might move it to next weekend because it's kind of dumb to do a marathon when at the same time I'm supposed to put out a podcast for my 50 subscriber special. Which, if you're a subscriber, check out the latest update video that I put out, because that will explain like what we're doing for the 50 subscriber special. Where like I put out a bunch of suggestions, I put out about a bunch of options for the subscriber special, and like you guys, let me know what you want me to do for the 50 subscriber special, right? Check out the options, and then you'll suggest from those options what we should do. All right, peace.